Today I've got an interview for you with Jacqueline Kerstma, an experienced continuous improvement professional, and she'll be discussing with us how to set up problem solving in a good and effective way. She's got a really nice take on this. It'll go through, you really need to link it to your training, your standards, your performance management, which includes daily meetings, things like that, and make this into one system that needs also a strong problem solving and a very nice reminder on that there are also good deviations. So you also want to take action on those to improve your processes. Here is Jacqueline.
So I have been always working in the make industry, in the production environment. And I started my career as a trainee, as most of people in the CI business. First, I think 7 years of my career was more in line function, production management, and the last 15 years in the continuous improvement environment. And in a big organization the last years, where I have been working with a lot of teams in different countries all over the world, implementing a top-down and a bottom-up continuous improvement program. In most of the factories, I saw a lot of problem solving in the sense that we are very busy with finding problems and solving problems. And there was absolutely no focus on what comes first. So in my last 2 years working as a consultant independently, I've been in different businesses as well. And I see actually the same pattern over there, that we are busy looking for problems, and if we find one, we put a team onto it. But my challenge is always to look at a different perspective and also see what went well. So when you are following a standard, or if you get a certain result, that you also find out what you did well in that process. If you want to start with problem solving, adding problem solving in your daily business, it is wise to first check if your basics are in place already. So if you have your critical standards already in place and trained in the best way, at least. Then if you have your daily meetings structure available, you can add on a topic about, do we need to have a problem solving session? Make sure that there's a time slot in your agenda in which you have the time to come together. So people that you will need most of the time have the time and the space to do so. If it's not necessary, then you don't have to sit together, of course. And make sure that if you do the things right, that you also find out why you did it so well. So also add that on in your daily meeting. So if you have reached the standard, also find a time, a quick moment to check, okay, what went so well and why? And how can we make sure that we do it again tomorrow? I think if you find a deviation, the first step is to check if there's a standard. And if there's a standard, because most of the time there isn't even a standard, if there's a standard, then check if it is followed in the right way as as it was meant to be actually to do. If that's not the case, it's not followed, then the question is why is it not followed? It can be that people have not been trained, or they are not aware that there's a standard, or they have their own way of working with it, so it's never been challenged, that standard. People have maybe better ideas that are not actually in the standard. So if that is I think the first question you have to ask, okay, is there a standard? If not, and if this deviation is then caused because of that, then the next question is, okay, how can we change that? And that can be, of course, corrective action. First fix the problem, make sure that the process is up and running still. And then in the meantime, check for the corrective or the preventive action. Besides the corrective action, what can we do to prevent this from happening again? Prevent this in the future and make sure that it's also integrated in the new standard. I think that is basically are the steps to follow in the right way of problem solving. And most of what you have to consider, I think, every time when you start trying to look for a root cause, check first if the basics are right. Because if that's not the case, then don't start teams and don't start fixing a problem if you're not sure if basics are in place. So that's always the first step. And basics, I mean, basics like are your people trained on the shop floor? Do they know what is expected from them? Are you clear on what the goals should be? Is there a common goal in the organization? Do people have their roles and responsibilities clear in achieving that goal? That for me are basic elements that should be clear before you start improving your business. And most of the time, again, maybe 80% of the cases, that's the case, that the basics are not okay. Well, that's also my vision for continuous improvement. When you start doing those programs in your organization, make sure that the basics are right before you try to improve things. Because every time you want to improve something and the basics are not there, then it's all dropping back and you can start all over again. And that's why people complain and companies complain. There's a short-term result and then boom, suddenly it collapses again. Consultants are gone and everybody is panicking again because everything is not sustained. And that's when you have to ask yourself, okay, do I have the basics already there to even be ready for a continuous improvement program? And I think most of the companies are not really getting into that level of discussion, finding out if their company or plant is ready for these kind of programs. If you really want to mature in your problem solving, I think that the challenge is to look more forward. And so all that's happened has happened, but if you are coming into a routine where you can basically look ahead and see what is coming towards you, look at potential risks and there solve your issues, I think then you're really getting into control. Yeah, problem solving should not be there to increase the moments of firefighting. That is a big pitfall, I think. So also in choosing your battles, think of what comes first in your organization. So if safety comes first in your organization, then all the issues you have in the last 24 hours regarding safety, you are going to focus on that first. If quality comes next, then quality is an issue that you solve first. So make sure that this is clear for your organization, what comes first and what comes next. So you can really also prioritize your issues. Because otherwise you're going to drown in them, especially when your team is still in a firefighting modus. Then that is not helping you in any way.
And a big thank you to Jacqueline. If you also liked this interview, don't forget to tell us by hitting that like button, or even better, posting a comment down below and telling us which part was a real eye-opener for you. And if you want to learn more about Jacqueline and her work, she can be found on stickwithc.nl. Now, she is fully focused on the Dutch market, so the website will also be in Dutch. But she will definitely love to also get in contact with you from wherever you are. There will be more interviews with Jacqueline coming up. But for now, I wish you the best of luck with your problem solving. And as always, don't forget to enjoy the continuous improvement journey.